Well, guys, I'm back one more time with a rendition from King Flex and TBA, aka Jason Black. I'm that dude from South Carolina they call Drummer 1980. I hope y'all having a good day today. And if that's not the case, ask yourself why. Because after all, happiness is an inside job and it will always be an internal affair. Well, guys, I know y'all have heard some things about the mess that's going on. But let me show you a clip first of why everybody thought Professor James Smalls, was on board. This is how he was talking. Let me show you this clip, guys.
You are always in Africa. You got the African Day Parade. You don't see the Africans. You got the festival that be going on in Brooklyn, the band festival, the African festivals. Where's the Africans at? When we doing our rallies and our marches, where's the Africans at on your side? Talk to us really about that, man.
See, let me tell you something. We think slavery in America was something. Slavery in Africa is still in force. You talking about deaf, blind, and dumb. Don't confuse you because somebody got on some printed cloth that's printed in Holland or India that you're looking at an African cultural expression. That's not an African cultural expression. That cloth was printed in a European country and then sold to Africans. And they've accepted that as their cloth. You understand what I'm saying? Just that piece. Now, they do speak the language, but they know less about their history than you and I do. So you've got a deaf, blind, dumb, backwards person speaking an African language, coming from the African country, came here to be a parasite on their own people with no respect for themselves as human beings. And then because they speak a language, try to play you off like they got something culturally that you don't have. The most culturally enforced African in the world is the African American. Most of the movements that have changed the world, that allow all ethnic nations to profit, has been our movement. And so we get peed on and played down because these people are so punked out and scared of the white man that they feel because they're scared of the white man, they got to be against us.
Are they our people, brother, or are we our own people now?
No, we got to understand two things. We have a race and then we have an ethnic place. Ethnically, we're African Americans. Just like a guy from Africa, he can say he's African, but there's no country called African. He's either Nigerian, Ghanaian, Malian, or something. That's his ethnic nation. Racially, we are together, but economically, we may well be enemies. And we have to be clear on that. That our economic enemy is just that. And if you deal with your economic enemy like it's your friend, you're going to be the loser at the end of the day. Now, we raised the question of Pan-Africanism in this hemisphere. You know, we had the brothers from Trinidad, and then you had W.B. Du Bois, and we created this phenomena. But Africa has never created a Pan-African movement. You understand? Africa has never really supported a Pan-African movement. We had a couple of people in Nkrumah and Julius Nyerere and Mugabe, but most of Africa never gave a damn about a Pan-Africanism because they're still bogged down in the colonial slavery of European Judeo-Christian indoctrination, which is worse than anything that we've suffered. Worse than anything that we've suffered. The illusion of the clothes and the language make us think we're dealing with somebody that has some African purity culturally and spiritually. You're dealing with a confused, backwards Christian that love Europe more than they love their own ancestors. They would not even use an African word for God. You know, in Ghana, if you talk about being a traditional African, you might get beat down in the street. You understand? You're ostracized on the radio. Movies are made to show African culture as being the devil, while Christian culture is coming in as the savior. This is TV shows and on TV in Nigeria and Ghana every day.
Well, guys, that sounds like the new black media almost, except for a few parts in there. He said something about that. They have suffered worse than us. That's up for discussion. Now, South Africa had South African apartheid. That was terrible. But I don't think it still was as harsh as chattel slavery, 400 years plus. But that's neither here or there. So I just wanted to show y'all that clip. Now, I'm going to let y'all hear something that sounds foreign. He's not talking like this. He sound like the Africans that called into Jason and Tariq shows and podcasts in his broadcast. Okay? Jason is going to speak first. I'm going to let Professor Smalls say his piece and all of that. And then I'm going to show you what Tariq had to say. So stay tuned, get your popcorn because this might take some time, all right? But I'm going to show y'all all of the receipts, all right? Let's go.
All right. It isn't just the denial. And so, and it isn't that the Africans who are arriving lately is allying themselves with our enemies, because they don't perceive, just like we don't know our history in America. How do we expect a guy from Kenya or Nigeria to know the African American history? We don't know the history.
Yeah, we do. Once again, another teaching moment. Actually, yeah, we do. That's the whole point. So, yeah, I'm not gonna kick it with that one there either. Yeah, we do know our history, which is exactly why there is a problem. There's friction because we do know our history. So, yeah, I can't accept that one either.
So our people come, they're trying to ally themselves with the advantage. So are you going to, if you go into a community to get rich, are you going to ally yourself with the impoverished person in the community or the rich person in the community?
So if you're going somewhere to get rich, now he is describing motive. So what he is admitting is that their motive is not unity. Their motive is not Pan-Africanism. Their motive is, well, I'm here to get rich. So in other words, you're here for yourself. We did not do what was in our self-interest. We didn't gain anything by Pan-Africanism. We did that because it was a principle. When that principle became obsolete, update your files. When that little movement became obsolete, we did what an intelligent organism is supposed to do. We adjusted, we adapted, and we changed. A foolish person or a foolish organism does not adapt and change when the conditions on the ground have changed. The conditions changed, and so we changed. Someone else who may be stuck in their ways and is refusing to adapt to a changed environment, that might make you feel great for nostalgia. We're not operating under nostalgia. We are operating under empowerment. So I think that's where the breakdown in comprehension may be emanating from, is that these newer fellows are out here adapting to the environment, and other people are trying to hold on to an obsolete bygone era that does not exist anymore, except in their memories.
Did y'all hear what James Smalls just said? He said the Africans and the people from the diaspora come over here to align themselves with the rich people and not the poor folks. By that same metric, if we did that, you shouldn't have nothing to say then, right? By that same metric. See, these people don't think. They paint themselves into a corner without thinking. If we do the same thing in how he's currently talking now, we would be divisive. But he has nothing to say to them. Now, it's all about we bad, we being divisive, we don't know our history. All of this foolishness. Oh, he's not talking like how he talking that first clip that I show y'all. And y'all gonna see as I keep playing clips of him, you gonna be like, this sound like a different person. This dude almost sound like somebody came to him and told him to change up this message or else. Because he did a flip. I'm telling y'all, he did a flip. And I always kept my eye on him because I heard him say some crazy things some years ago. That's why you never heard me say anything about him. God almighty, did you hear me? That's why you never hear me raise his name. Because I peeped game a long time ago. I heard him say some stuff on an interview a long time ago, and I was like, something ain't right about him.
And so this fight between the whites and us, our people are caught in the middle of that fight. You understand? And we're saying our people are siding with our enemy. They're not siding with the enemy. They don't even know what the hell's going on. They don't even know we got to fight.
Folks, they don't even know we have a fight.
Ridiculous.
They don't even know we have a fight. Really? I mean, what do I even say to that? Now, do you all even need me to address that? They don't even know there's a fight. White folk, we get videos all the damn time showing white folk doing every form of debauchery to them on African soil. And he's saying they don't even know there's a fight. I'm like, okay, how in the world did you come to that conclusion with everything you see out here? How much reaching do you have to do to say a statement like that? So, Jason, am I taking anything out of context, people? And once again, no disrespect to Professor Small, but I'm just like, okay, I got to address this, man. I'm being as respectful as I can be, but how in the world can you look outside the window and sit up here and say, oh, they don't even know there's a fight going? Really? So they know there's one against us, but they don't know there's one with the white folk? Really? As if the white folk treat them so great. To say they don't know there's a fight is to say that white society treats them so great. And that's not the case. It's not the case in Africa. It's not the case over here. So what are you really trying to prove? Or what are you really trying to accomplish by saying that? Because the facts outside of our windows very clearly prove that this is completely a false statement. So what are we really trying to prove here? Because we're not trying to prove that they are beloved by the white establishment. That's not the case. So what's the real goal and the real aim here?
This dude says the Africans didn't even know that we had a fight over here in America. Well, y'all buying this stuff? This sound like one of them mush-mouth tethers. They're very similar. It sounds familiar all too well. Now, when everybody starts speaking in unison like that, like how Tariq always say, that's coming from the top somewhere. Wasn't this guy on a movie set? He was like some type of creator, director, and it was one of those Hollywood movies too. It wasn't no low-budget film. That's interesting. Because usually they don't do that unless you click 10.
Hang on to your bat helmets, boys and girls, for what you're about to hear next. And I know so far I haven't given you a heads up about things, but there's something he's about to say next here about what we need to do for other people, by the way. So just hang on to your bat capes, because wait till you hear this part.
These are all of the little nuances, right? But none of them understand it enough to explain it like you and I are now doing. And so that's why we have to tell our side of the story. We have to say, we see what's going on, but you don't hate your brother because he's lost his sight. You grab his hand and give him guidance. Where have the African American open up a refugee center while brothers and sisters coming from home and need help?
Yeah. Where are the African Americans to open up refugee centers for these other folks? Yeah, you heard that correctly the first time. I'll go ahead and back it up so you can hear it again.
Explain it like you and I are now doing. And so that's why we have to tell our side of the story. We have to say, we see what's going on, but you don't hate your brother because he's lost his sight. You grab his hand and give him guidance. Where have the African American open up a refugee center while brothers and sisters coming from home and need help and assistance? So how are we going to complain if we go to the Indian or the Chinese or the white man for aid when we have not set up any place to aid him?
We did, Professor Small. It's called the United States of America.
Deal with it.
There is no refugee assistance for us going over to Africa, for us going to the Caribbean. We gave them the ability to get refugee assistance. That now they got access to all the things that we would have as citizens, even though they pay nothing. They can get welfare, food stamps, Section 8, refugee assistance, something we can't get. We can't get any of that going over there. There is no refugee assistance. So we made it where if they make it to American soil, that is the refugee center. And very clearly they agree and understand it because they're taking full advantage of it. We set that up, sir. Please go and investigate your history, sir. President Woodrow Wilson, sir. They didn't want any of them coming over here. We had to stall for 30 years to get that damn thing opened.
Do this sound like the same guy in that first clip I showed y'all? This guy said we don't have no centers open up for them. First of all, let me be brutally honest. First thing is to take care of home first. That's any man's job, to take care of home first. You talking about the same people that help to sell you, to help catch you, put you on the boat, right? That's what you're talking about. Now, you said in the first clip, you said these people are lost, they colonized, the mindset, all that stuff. But yet you want somebody to hold their hand. I'm not holding somebody's hand and they got a knife trying to kill me. I'm not doing that. And we all understand that it's not all brothers and sisters. We understand that. And this have been laid out plain enough for a child can understand what this is about. This all came about when reparations was on the table. These people were screaming, talking about, you don't deserve nothing. Who are these people? Come to find out, they people outside of the United States. But yet, we the problem. I don't care who it is, elder, old, young, middle age, golden age, octogenarian, I don't care what it is. When somebody start talking like this, there's only one or two things that happen. There's only one or two things that happen, guys. And I will get into it further on down in the video. And I'm going to call a spade, because I don't have no connection with the dude. And quite frank, I don't care. I mean, honestly. Simply because I hear how he's talking. Where was the switch up? You heard the first video. He sounded like he was on the black channel. Huh? But now he starts sounding like Jesse Lee Peterson almost to me. Talking about somebody ain't hip. The 14th Amendment was for who? Was for us originally. But our people was fighting blood, sweat, and tears to try to extend the olive branch to the brothers and sisters outside of the United States. When have they ever tried to help us? Show me the equivalent of a Candace Owens, FBA, a Black American, freeman going to any of the diaspora, getting on TV, dragging Africans, telling them how stupid they are, they baby mamas, and they have names for them in their country. Show me the equivalent. I'll wait. Show me the equivalent. I need to see it. But yet, you don't have nothing to say about them. Oh, we ain't doing this, Professor. We not doing this because you sounding like you done been co-opted. Somebody done pull your coattail.
And so it's our job to tell the history, tell the story, have the political discussions of forums like this so people get a better understanding of what the conflict is. So you got people who thinking, the ones in America thinking, our brothers from home don't want us, they hate us, they betrayed us, because look, they only go with the white people, they don't come with us. And then the one from the continent says, oh, our brothers in America, they treat us terribly, they don't offer us a hospitality hand to come, and help when we're in crisis, but the whites and the white organization do. And so that's where you see this thing coming from.
Okay. The very fact they come over here and they're in black neighborhoods, they're dealing with black people. These folks don't come from Africa and go to a white neighborhood. They can't go to a white neighborhood. Ain't that right, Amadou Diallo? Ain't that right, Abner Louima? So that's just completely false. The only place they get welcomed is among us. From the music, from the culture, from the food, from the geography, from the neighborhood. There are no white neighborhoods where they've ever been welcomed and sure ain't welcome today. So once again, what city are you referring to by saying such a outrageously inaccurate, completely 180 degrees the opposite of reality? What are we doing? and give a handout and a help, most of the time they're talking about how great where they came from is, which really just kind of confuses you. Okay, well, if it's great, then don't have to worry about being here. But so once again, where is this coming from, man? I'm talking about, let's take a look at the facts in reality on the ground here, not some historical anecdote. Let's take a look at what's happening right outside your door. Where is this coming from? Because this is not what's happening right outside your window. It isn't. It's just not. If it were, we would have a much different conversation. We can go ahead and wrap this up very easily, but no, this just isn't real. It just isn't. They get plenty of assistance from us. They get plenty of welcoming from us. Their whole presence here. That's why I can name Amadou Diallo and Abner Louima. And I'm from Louisiana, and they got support from there. No. So we're reaching really, really far here to try to substantiate or justify a bunch of off-code behavior. That's the real issue. And if we all suffered from daily amnesia, maybe it would work. But I'm like, okay, but we're not suffering from that.
But nobody will really say that because they don't know how to articulate what neither side is seeing. You understand? And so we have a situation where we have more brothers and sisters who are immigrants from Africa who are being deported, and we don't even know they're being deported. They're being arrested. We don't even know they're being arrested. You understand? So for those of us who even want to help them, we can't help them because we don't know how to find them.
Okay, but our issue has been that by and large, when they come over here, Karine Jean-Pierre and so many others, they get booed up with the white establishment. So first he's saying that they don't know that there's a fight. They don't know that they're who the enemy is. But amazingly, now you're going to say that they know who the enemy is, or are you going to say they still don't know who the enemy is when he goes rounding them up? I mean, which is it? Are they just brain damaged and they're just zombies who don't understand anything? Or do you think when they started rounding them up that they realized, the black folks we've been sitting up here dissing all this time, they ain't the real problems? Do you think they figured it out then? Or are you going to still say they getting rounded up and they don't know why? Boy, they don't understand why they getting rounded up. Which one is it?
This dude got a forked tongue, guys. Huh? Did you hear me? I said he got a forked tongue. You can hear it. He trying to talk out both sides of his mouth. He act like it's 50-50. That's a lie. We all know that's a lie. Nobody was attacking no Africans. Who? Show me the groups of people that's just going around just bombing on Africans for no reason. This guy is talking like somebody paying him. He sound like somebody done pulled his coattail and done told him to change up his ideology. Because anybody that have been around these spaces for any amount of time know exactly why the FBA stopped bombing on everybody from the diaspora. And we all say it's not everybody. We know that. But listen to the people that call in. You can go back in my channel and look at my video catalogs when people calling in. Nobody is going to their channels, bothering them. They calling our channels. But yet, we the problem. We telling them to stay out of our business whenever it comes to reparations, because you have absolutely nothing to do with that. You don't even have a dog in the fight. You ain't even qualified. But yet, they sitting up on the panel talking about, well, they don't need no reparations, and they just need to forget about slavery. Something wrong with you. And you don't see that? You talking about they don't know. They have internet, don't they? Don't they have internet in Africa? Huh?
There's something else here. And once again, I'm not going to really dwell on this seriously long. But there's I want to go ahead and get this out of the way. Now. And once I get this out of the way, then we'll go ahead and come back to some other things. But I'm going to go ahead and play these things for you all. Make of it what you will.
Getting those things accomplished, supplying those needs. So, Africans want to be free. Thank you. You know. But I'm glad to come and hang out with you for a minute. and we get to know each other. But we always knew each other.
Yeah.
We're Africans. We're fighting the same enemies, no matter where we are in the world. They just have a different face on them, maybe a little different strategy. But one of the biggest thing they're trying to do is make sure to divide us in the West from you on the continent. So if you're going to look at that thing, it's not a rift between some black Americans and some Africans. That's the U.S. State Department. It may have started out with a few ignorant people, but they knew how to take advantage of that ignorance. But I don't even think it started out with a few ignorant people. I think they started it. They tested the water with that first group, that lawyer woman from California and the man. And then somehow they got to Tariq Nasheed. If you remember, Tariq Nasheed was going in just the opposite direction a few years ago. Why did that U-turn occur?
I was surprised because I watched all the Hidden Colors. That's where I discovered you, from the Hidden Colors. And I'm like, how did you move from the Hidden Colors to this? Like, it doesn't, yeah.
Well, he may not be an agent. He just may be disgusted and tired of thinking that he's being taken advantage of by his brothers and sisters from the continent because of his own ignorance. Just like the brothers and sisters from the continent think they're being taken advantage of when they come over here by some of us. And that's from a lack of relationship. And I'm telling you, that the State Department and the American Immigration Department is right at the center of that.
Mm-hmm. He may not be an agent. Of everything I heard there, that kind of stuck out to me. You all know me. I don't throw that word agent around. I don't throw that term agent around. You all know me. You can go back and look through my program. You can count probably on one hand the number of times you've ever heard me use the word agent. That's not a word I use because that word means something. That's not something you just, in the internet age, people just sit up here and milk metaphors and hyperboles all over the place. Words matter in that regard when you use something like that. So once again, I'm not here to play public relations or anything. I will just say that when you're talking about FBA in that regard, and when you start talking about folks being agents, maybe they're not. It's like, okay, because I'm remembering Karanga and folk, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not really sure you want to start this. I'm not really sure this is how you want to approach that. I really, really don't. But like I say, there was that.
Well, let me touch on the TBA for just about 60 seconds. If you calling somebody an agent or what have you, or they might not be an agent, that's a heavy accusation. You have to have some type of proof. We need to see the proof. Because what he's doing, he said here, creating a lot of straw man arguments, what nobody never talked about. Nobody never said this stuff. He's conjuring it up, this stuff. He's bringing up an idea and arguing against that point that he's making. Nobody never said that they was taking advantage of us. I ain't never heard nobody say that. Have y'all? Put it in the comment section. He just making up stuff and arguing against his own self. And from my understanding, they talk to each other or they have some type of relationship behind the scenes. But yeah, he on a podcast talking about something about the agent. If y'all can't see this plain as day, I question you. You need to go do some introspection, please. He's making points that nobody never said. This came about for a certain reason. I've been hearing people calling us all type of names, and I'm not talking about no African booty scratching. Them kids. We talking about as grown adults. They have names for you and me as grown adults. Akata, Jaria, Abid, No Man. I got all these names. But yet, nobody don't say nothing to them. Oh, they don't know no better. Oh, you got to hold their hand and just show them the way because they're your brothers and sisters. No, you're not. No. Absolutely not. I'm vehemently against that. Are you insane? And go sit here with a forked tongue before the people lying. And we all know the truth because we was there from the beginning. We can show you a timeline where everything starts spinning out of control on their behalf because they ingratiated themselves into a discussion that had absolutely nothing to do with them. Said, mind your business, stay out of, oh, y'all xenophobic. And then they come up calling your names. Oh, you baby mamas, you criminals. All of this foolishness. And whenever you clap back, oh, you picking on us. Well, if you don't want to get dirty, stay out of the mud. Okay? And the first rule, if you in a hole, stop digging. I implore y'all to go watch Jason's whole broadcast. We want to put tens of thousands of views on this because it's already close to 100 now. I think it was at like 96 or 97,000 the last time I checked, so that's viral. But go check out his channel because there is more that he said, but I just picked out the hot spots, okay? But go check out his channel. Shout out to TBA. Now, let's get to what Tariq had to say about the whole situation.
The thing with James Small, I know a lot of people are talking about that. James Small, Professor James Small. A lot of people have been on his bumper because he was very, very disrespectful to the lineage, very disrespectful to me. And yeah, he said some little disrespectful stuff before, and I kind of let it slide. I didn't, I'm like, okay. He's in the new movie that we're working on, Hidden Colors 6. And basically what it looks like, because James Small, he was one of the main people talking delineation language. All right. He was one of the first people talking that. He knows what it is. What it looks like, some of that African tour money might be drying up because a lot of these he's a Pan-Africanist. And a lot of these cats, they make their little money with those African tours. I think he's going on one in December. They take people over to Africa. So that shit is drying up. That's their little hustle, and that shit is drying up because people are delineating. So, and a lot of ops are in his ear. But the thing is, some people were like, well, yeah, some of the ops got to him. They like to manipulate the elders. My thing is, some of these ops, yeah, they're in your ear for a reason because they know that you have a friendly ear to them. So I'm not going to put it just on the ops because these same ops be hollering at a lot of different people. Why are you listening to them? You understand? You listening to them because you might have to share the same ideology with them. Yeah, you dig? But with Professor Smalls, yeah, some of the disrespect that he's shown towards me and the family, I've helped Mr. Smalls for real. The truth be told, nobody was really rocking with Professor Smalls until we put him in Hidden Colors. And he said this, nobody was rocking with Professor Smalls. I mean, he did his thing back in the day, but nobody was really rocking with him. He said this. You know? And a lot of people are saying he's doing some real oppie stuff. I wouldn't put it past. But let me say this for the record. I'm not rocking with Professor Smalls anymore.
Well. And I don't blame him because if anybody get on camera and they even imply or either insinuate that I'm working for some type of alphabet organization or either somebody paying me and I had them in my movie and I done helped them and I did out there, oh no, the speaker get turned off. Absolutely not. You better have some proof. We ain't talking about no feelings and all this old stuff where I feel like you. If we had private conversations, you know my ideology there. And everybody else know the ideology. Because it's very simple. But like how Tariq made a good point, whenever that he says that, why do the people that's so vehemently against us, you so friendly towards them? You giving them your ear, you're lending them your ear. I'm going to tell you like the story of Moses. Moses was one of God chosen. But he got off cold and he didn't see the Holy Land. Huh? God told Mighty, did you hear me? Did you hear what Drummer just said? Moses was one of the chosen. One of God lead men. And he got off cold. God did not know you can't see the promised land. Well, James Miles, you can't see the promised land. Need to get you up out the paint. Because you talking real opposite. Because we seen the turn. I told y'all in a clip earlier, I said, I heard him say some things a while back, and I was like, because I just don't endorse anybody either, guys. No, you have to have a track record. There's some people that I see on here that are doing great work, but it has not been enough time passed yet. This guy wait till he's octogenarian, he's old, and then he want to make the shift to turn, want to pivot. Okay, well, pivot right on out the door then. You got your walking papers. This is your death certificate here. You might as well put a nail in your coffin, man, because you done with it. Whenever you use words like that, talking about somebody can be getting paid and they some kind of, no. Those allegations there, man, you better have some evidence that substantiates your claim. You better have a leg to stand on whenever you talk like that now. Guys, I'm glad Tariq has excommunicated him and got him up out the paint, got him up out of the movie. He don't need no spotlight. Put him back in the dark where the roaches at. Go with your Pan-Africanism, people, and you do what you do over there. Since it's 50-50 and FBAs are at fault and all this old food. Go in the dark there. Turn the lights off on you. Forked tongue. He got a forked tongue. Because I'm sitting here listening to that dude. That's why y'all ain't never heard me say nothing about this man. I'm telling y'all. That's why you ain't never heard me say a word. Because I heard him talk and I was like, this dude, he talk like something ain't right about this guy.
Respect, because I've shown that man nothing but respect. Family that he has a hotel over there in Africa. When that shit was failing, I gave money to help him out with that.
What?
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that type of little disrespect, and he's been kind of doing that. He gets with these tethers and been taking shots at me, but then he just went real disrespectful to me, and there's a point of no return. You know, there's a point of no return with some of the stuff he was saying about me. That ain't so. For the record, I'm letting folks know. Yeah, all that. Respect the elders. I respect the elders if you are respectable, because you start kind of lying and saying shit you know ain't true. I have no respect for you at this point. I've lost all respect for Professor Smalls. I don't rock with him. We're taking him out of the movie Hidden Color 6. He's not going to be in it. It's going to be a minute. We're re-editing that. We're taking him out. In fact, I'm going to replace him with about 3 people that I want to get. There's a couple of people that I want to get.
Well, there you have it, guys. You heard it come out of the horse's mouth. Jason Black, Tariq Nasheed. Those were their thoughts on him, and you heard my thoughts. I think he is an agent because of the way that he's talking, the way that he's pivoting, the way that he signed like the collective of the people from the diaspora. That's what they sound like. That's what every last one of them calls say the same old mess. It's the same script, guys, the same identical script. Nothing changed in it. And then they don't want you to do anything. They just want you to sit back and let people run rough shots, say what they want to say, do what they want to do, get in political positions, and you're not supposed to say anything. Just go along, just get along. Well, nah, because nobody helped you like the Foundation of Black Americans, the Freemen. Nobody have helped y'all like these people here. These people here have extended the olive branch, try to love on you, try to do all of that. And look at what you do. But you coming over here with a forked tongue, you're lying, you're scamming, you're bringing this filthy culture over here, and you're siding with our open enemies. So, as far as I'm concerned, you the enemy as well. Whenever you talk like how he talk, you an enemy combatant, because it was no 50-50. Now, how he talked in the first clip, what happened to all of that, guys? See, I'm telling you, he talking out both sides of his neck. His tongue for he tell truth and lies. Huh? That breeds confusion. And who is the author of confusion? But I want to hear your thoughts and your mindset, all right? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and come on back to see me. Hit the like button because I'm trying to get into the YouTube algorithm, if nothing else. Now come back now, you're here. Until next time, peace. And remember, James Smalls is not in here in cutting 6.